send in, so start beating government officials. Not private, but government officials, beating them. Senior government officials, you were beaten. You couldn't even say, okay, let me get to the minister. See how you can help us, No, not tolerant. Simply because you had a relationship with the military. And government cannot enforce laws because you are attached or you had a relationship with a particular institution. Or you come from a particular place. Who does that? Who does such thing? How would this country progress?
Okay guys, so let's first remind ourselves of what happened. Wike went to Gadowa in Abuja where his team from the FCTA had gone for a demolition exercise. According to the government, that land was reserved for parks and recreation, as I said in my previous video, but some developers have started building on it illegally. So when the FCTA officials got there, they met the naval officer guarding the place. One of them, a lieutenant, stopped the team saying he was acting under instruction. So now in his own defense, Wike has said that he has no problem with the military as an institution. He made that point very clear. He said he respects the armed forces, but what happened in Gadowa was not about disrespecting the uniform. It was about enforcing the law. So he said, and I quote loosely, "I don't have a problem with the military. I can never have a problem with the military. But you cannot use the uniform to intimidate government officials who are carrying out lawful duties." His argument is simple. In a functioning society, nobody, no matter their rank or uniform, is above the law. And if an officer, no matter who sent him, stands in the way of government enforcement, that is a problem. This is Wike's version, but of course not everyone agrees with how he handled it. Since that video came out, there has been serious backlash, especially from retired military generals. Buratai, the former chief of army staff, called Wike's behavior a threat to national security. He said it undermines military authority and could demoralize serving officers. Then Lucky Irabo, the former chief of defense staff, also weighed in. He said Wike's confrontation with a uniformed officer was an offense against the state because that uniform represents the authority of Nigeria, not just the individual wearing it. In other words, even if the officer was wrong, there are ways to address it. But publicly confronting him in that tone in front of camera wasn't one of them. So on the other side, many Nigerians are actually supporting Wike. They argue that it's high time someone stood up to the people who hide behind uniforms or connections to do wrong things. They see his action as enforcing accountability. Because if that land was truly allocated illegally, then the FCTA has every right to act. Some people even believe that this incident exposed how powerful individuals uses the military to guard private property, which is totally against the law. So in their eyes, Wike was just doing his job. No fear, no favor. But here is where it's getting interesting. This issue goes beyond who was right or wrong in that moment. It touches deeper questions about how power works in Nigeria. You've got the balance between civilian authority and the military, which is always a sensitive line. You've got questions about respect for institutions, both sides claiming to be defending the law. And you've got the optics because in public administration, perceptions matters almost as much as legality. So now imagine this, that the minister shouting at that uniformed officer in front of cameras. That image stays in people's minds. Even if it was technically right, it can be seen as an overreach. On the other hand, an armed officer blocking a government task force looks like a show of power, maybe even intimidation. So both sides didn't exactly look great, if you ask me. What should have been a matter of paperwork and coordination turned into a full-blown national debate. And honestly, that's part of Nigeria's larger problem. Institutions working in silos. The FCTA, the military, and the land authorities, everyone claiming to be right, but no clear communication before action is actually taken. So if there was a proper coordination, that demolition team would have known, whether the land was truly under military supervision, and then the Navy would have also known to step aside if the FCTA had legitimate authority there. Instead, it played out in the open like a power struggle. So Wike, of course, is standing firm. He is using this moment to send a message that during his time as FCT Minister, the era of impunity is over. He is saying that he is not going to tolerate any illegal structures or people hiding behind connections. So whether you agree with his style or not, there's no doubt that he's trying to, project strength and control. He wants everyone, both civilians and those in uniform, to know that the FCT government will enforce its rule. Now, to be fair to Wike, he didn't double down on insults or try to escalate the issue. I'm glad he didn't do that. But in his later comments, he said clearly that he will continue to work with the military and other security agencies and that he values their sacrifices. So he only insisted that they must all operate within the law. If you ask me, that is a reasonable stance, and I think he's trying to calm things down. So because this could have easily, spiraled into something bigger. Still, people are talking. Could this have been avoided? Absolutely. If due process had been followed, if communication was clear, if egos were put aside, he wouldn't even be talking about this. And maybe that is the lesson here. Governance shouldn't be about public display of power, but about coordination, respect, and process. Because at the end of the day, both the FCTA and the military are working for the same country. So what should we expect next? Possibly an internal review from the defense headquarters, maybe an official clarification about who actually owns that Gadowa land. The public deserves to know. Was it truly illegal or was there some miscommunication? That's my take. Wike says he respects the military. The general says he went too far and Nigerians are caught in between, trying to make sense of who is right. Personally, I think both sides could have handled it better. The law should be enforced, yes, but also with respect and order. Because when government officials and the military start clashing in public, the real loser is the country itself. Thank you guys for staying with me to the end. I would like to see your thoughts in the comment section. And please don't forget to subscribe if you are new to this channel. Thanks to all my amazing subscribers, and I will see you in the next one. Of course, it's yours truly, Ima, saying bye for now.